Talking about you got this and you got that, and you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'm gonna put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know that I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends, which includes, but is not limited to, my boy, Torque2! Wait,
I don't have the...
You don't have a shaker?
No. Welcome back, Connie.
Hey, what's poppin', baby? How you feeling?
Good to see you. Good
Nice to see you, my dude. What's going on with you?
Not much, man. How's that face?
Yeah, you know, a little slap ain't gonna stop
Wasn't
somebody.
bad. I mean, you took that like a champ.
I told him to slap me 3 times.
I know.
The man didn't slap
Yeah.
me hard enough the first 2, and then the third, I'm like, all right, whatever. I might start stinging or something. if
Couple
you keep
extra
slapping
ones
me.
for the couple extra Steeler wins that they got.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I've never seen so much fucking bullshit in history. What's poppin', Melissa? How you feeling?
I'm pretty good.
You got yourself your typical white girl cup, I see.
Mm-hmm.
A nice little Staley.
Staley.
Yeah.
I'm like still kind of sick.
All I see in this chat is I'm sick.
It was touch and go there for a second. I didn't know if you were gonna make it.
Me either. I was
What-
crying. My fever was so bad.
Was it COVID?
I had reported that you passed
Wow.
away.
I didn't test, but I probably was.
That's our favorite
But it's
joke.
just like it's not going away.
You were
so
clinically dead for
I
like.
think I have a chronic illness now.
Oh, jeez.
Like my checks.
It's not
whenever-
contagious, right?
You get checks
No,
for
I'm
chronic
definitely-
illness?
I don't know.
The fuck?
I don't know. Probably.
Because if that's the case, we all got it. What's poppin', Burke? I see you're all set up in my shot. I don't know what the hell is going on here. I walked in today, and my shit was just taking
He
over.
asked me what poppin', and then he just fucking talks.
This is how
You understand I'm doing a job here?
This is how we
isn't
feel
easy.
when you ask us a question.
Christ, man.
Thank you, Melissa.
Christ
What's
almighty.
poppin' with you, baby?
You know, same old shit, just over here trying to figure out how to run a show.
Okay. How is that?
I don't know. I was hoping you were going to get back soon enough so that you could be doing this, but then I didn't trust it in, a 3-minute turnaround time.
Well, you should have.
It'd have been fine.
I don't know.
Because
man.
everything's always fine.
The first time I set up the show, it took me 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Second time was like 2 hours.
So you're getting down.
Yeah, I mean, we did it in 20 minutes today, but that probably just means you guys aren't in for much of a show. To be quite honest.
Something's going to break down at some point or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this one's going to be a little bit on the light side.
We're talking Buccos, right?
No. We're
What?
not
I wore
talking.
my shirt.
I wore my shirt.
Aroldis Chapman.
Buccos. It does say
What? You guys got
Buccos.
Chapman?
We got
We
Chapman.
did get Chapman.
Why would you guys wait?
Well,
why
I
would Chapman ever go there?
I don't know, and I don't know why they signed him.
Yeah,
I have
but-
no idea, but we got him. Maybe it means they're going to be adding more pieces. That's good. It has to admit that what it means.
Quite honestly, it means absolutely nothing because you guys last year signed. Who'd you guys sign?
Nobody.
Other than McCutcheon.
Nobody.
You guys you signed somebody older. That,
Oh, Rich Hill.
That pro.
My point.
Bro, Rich Hill's 41 and
Yeah.
can't break a pane of glass
But at
with
least
a
he was
fastball.
at least he was a starting pitcher.
Did he ever throw
He
a
was
fastball?
effective enough for a back of the rotation guy.
Yeah, for a team that's going to win 80 games.
Yeah. Well, I hope we win 80 games. I win my bet.
But you have over 69 again?
I wish I would have went all in. 72 and a half.
72 and a half.
Yeah.
You had 69 last year, right?
No, it was like 66 and a half. 67
nice.
and a half. Yeah, it was a steal last
Yeah,
year.
last year was a layup. Speaking of baseball,
Melissa's so happy.
I just like totally spaced out.
No,
and
don't.
So did our
don't
audience.
Worry. Don't worry. This actually isn't even a baseball related. I mean, it is. I have this.
Baseball player.
Well, I have this running joke. It's not even really a joke. It's actually very true that I keep a bucket of baseballs next to my bed, and if anybody ever breaks in, I'm gonna spring
But
out
do
of
you
bed.
actually have them though?
Yeah,
You have baseballs or you have a
Yes.
bat?
Okay.
I have both the baseballs and a bat. And I have a bucket of balls next to my bed, and then I have a bat behind my nightstand.
Just get a gun.
And the joke is that
That's what I'm there for.
if an intruder
I know
ever
for you,
breaks in,
Melissa.
if an intruder ever breaks in, I'm going to spring out of bed ass naked and just start firing fastballs at
I
their
mean, they
head.
might
I
just
like
run
that.
away because you're
I like
naked.
that.
Like they'll
Exactly.
just be like, you might not even have to throw a ball. They'll just be
Honestly,
like, what the fuck is going on in
It's
here?
much better because you're probably much more accurate with a baseball than you are with a gun.
For sure.
And, you won't kill any of your
Right,
roommates.
and I'll inflict a fair amount of damage.
Yeah.
Not zero. And it's good to see that one flamethrower, Randy Johnson, also had the exact same idea. He's like, I'm not going to get a gun. I'm going to blow someone's face up like the fucking bird that I hit in
I
mid-flight.
love it.
To be fair, he throws like 30 miles per hour harder than you could even dream of.
Way more than 30. Way more than 30 now. I mean, 30, like his peak and my peak, but like now, maybe 50.
Melissa, did you ever see that clip of when the bird came flying in and Randy Johnson? Yeah.
Wow, we're
That's-
testing Berkey right now.
Yeah, I was just going to
we're
see if
so
Berkey could pull
testing
it up.
Berkey right
Yeah,
now.
we gotta
guys.
test him. He's had a week to work at it. I think he can pull that clip up.
I mean, he
right
talks a lot
Yeah.
of game about how he's going to defend the house with this throw. So I hope it's at least okay enough. To
when I
hurt someone.
when I take a bad beat at the table,
Salonzo and Healy.
I think about this bird.
Okay.
This poor bird.
This
got-
poor
we got-
bird, and it's like, you know what? I'm never gonna be as unlucky as that bird.
Wait, this isn't it.
That's not it.
I'm
Yes,
so-
it is.
There was
Yes, it
another-
is.
Oh, that was a narrow miss.
Yeah, that was different. You
That was a
MLB
very narrow
bird is
miss. But
getting-
You did
okay,
put
here it
Randy
is.
Johnson in?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Very good, Burke. Oh my God, it exploded. Like, what are the odds of that? It has to be in the trillions.
They're not good, cuz. They're not good. We're going to watch it in slow-mo here.
I
Because he was
mean-
throwing 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. Like,
Dead.
it literally
That
had
shit's
to
crazy.
happen.
Is the bird okay?
He's in heaven.
He passed away.
He passed away.
Okay.
All right.
she wrote
Just
for the
like
bird.
just think about that moment. Anytime anything unlucky happens
Right.
to you, it's not really that consequential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about this the other day because I was in Port Authority, and at the bottom of Port Authority, the bus station, there is pigeons that fly
stinks
around.
there.
Oh, stinks is an
Port
Port
understatement.
bad
Authority.
there.
Yeah.
It's an
not- yeah.
understatement. It's actually a really sad place to be.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, there's just birds flying around, and this is the basement of it. Like, there's birds inside flying around. Like, I thought they were like literally racing on a track because they just kept going by me, flying, and I'm like, this is some weird ass
Sounds
shit.
terrifying.
It sounds like New York, as far as I'm concerned. This is what my image of New York City actually is. While we're talking about traveling to the East Coast and passing through New York, which I actually won't be doing because I was lucky enough to get a direct flight, let's give a quick shout out to WPT Global. They have a big series coming up in Montreal. Prior to the Playground series, there's actually an online global winter event that's taking place right now. Today is a $44 buy-in. You guys can get into that for free by using sign-up code PLAYGROUND and depositing at least $100. That's good through today. Giving you guys a little bit of future to look forward to. We have a meetup game coming up on January 31st at Playground Casino. It's going to be myself, Schwan Liu, and one Ape Styles, John Van Fleet. We will also be a part of the main event that's taking place there the following day, as well as, I believe, a 2K high roller. So these are all the events that you guys can look forward to. They're doing a 3K last longer in event number 3, as well as number 15, I believe.
A 3K lasts longer?
Yeah, so basically, you have to do some stuff. It implies it asks you to basically sign up for WPT or have cash on hand on your account, WPT Global.
Okay.
And then whoever goes deepest in these events gets a 3K bonus.
Oh, okay.
But, that's kind of nice. We're also going to be doing $50 splash pots and bomb pots every hour during the meetup game. So be sure to come and hang out. Say hi to us. If you guys want more information, you can just hit hashtag WPT Global in the chat or click the link below in the description.
Yo. So, quick story real quick.
Okay.
I was in New York, right? And I'm in this hotel that I always go to. Not going to say the name, but
Waldorf Astoria.
don't tell everybody.
You stayed at Waldorf?
So I'm at,
Hold up.
so I'm at this hotel. Anyway.
No. Before you get into the story, I need to know, have you stayed at a Waldorf?
Yes.
Of course.
When?
A long
This
time
bougie
ago.
motherfucker.
It was a long time ago, but yes.
How the fuck are you affording Waldorf?
I
I've
doesn't.
never stayed at the Waldorf.
He never said he could
also
afford
I
it.
never said I could afford it or pay for it.
You also
Anyway,
don't own any Louis Vuitton.
This is true.
back to my story, guys.
That's more of a choice than
So,
the ability to afford it.
I'm coming down. You can afford Waldorf hotels. Relax. Anyway, I'm coming downstairs to grab a pizza and whatnot, and I see this dude.
Oh, you're in a place where they just got pizza in the lobby.
No. I
He
ordered
ordered it.
Uber
Oh,
Eats.
okay.
So I'm coming downstairs and whatnot, and there's this dude laying on the couch. Now, let me show you how he's laying on the couch. He's this kind of big dude, kind of hood-looking dude. He's just on the couch, spread out, chilling. And he's staring at me after I get off the hotel
Get your feet off
elevator.
my fucking desk.
Fuck your desk. He's just staring at me after I get off the elevator. I'm just like, the fuck's wrong with this guy? He says, yo, you're Conrad from the Only Friends podcast.
No.
I just lost it. I'm looking at him like, oh shit, I'm about to get shot.
That's your takeaway?
I don't know what the fuck's about to go on.
I feel like our viewers don't really shoot.
Yeah, I don't think we need to
Well,
sweat.
like I said, like this is the crazy part. I didn't think he was one of our viewers looking at him.
right.
He's kind of hood-looking dude, big dude, whatever. Like,
What are you trying to say, Conrad?
what? My fucking viewers are nerds. Anyway, so
And Brainiac.
And
He's
Brainiac.
right.
Brainiacs.
By the way, while you're at it,
I do love you guys.
Not to interrupt your conversation here, Conrad, but while you guys are at it, we got a new emote for you. So if you guys are members and you want to hit that emote, we have a new Nikki. What is it called?
Reject Me
Reject
Daddy.
Me Daddy emote. Go ahead and throw up your Reject Me Daddy. Anyway, go ahead. Back to you, Conrad.
Anyway, so I'm just like, he's looking at me. He says, yo, you're Conrad from the Only Friends podcast. And everything just stopped in my head. I'm like, oh shit. The fuck? Who are you? How do you watch this podcast? And like, it just hit me. I was like, this is weird. He's like, dude, I fucking love your podcast. He's like, I know everybody. I know stars, this, that, and the third. I don't get starstruck. But you guys, I fucking love.
That's awesome.
And I
What
was
stars does he know? Can he have them on our podcast?
he went on and listened to a couple, but like it was a moment. It was like, wow, the podcast kind of reaches some different genres of people that I would have never expected.
We're out there.
Obviously, he had a game running upstairs, but you know, I was really just thrown off for a moment, and yeah, it was kind of cool.
Man. That's awesome. Never know when you're gonna
Shout
get.
out.
Shout out to guy I won't name his name.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to that guy.
To that
Shout
guy.
out to Guy.
I guess while we're talking about, Only Friends and garnering some sort of
It's that time again. Huh?
notoriety, doesn't it feel early this year?
It feels like time's going by fast.
It feels very early. So I want to give a big shout out to not us. I mean, we did make the finals again.
Yeah,
just,
let's shout out us.
Obviously. Shout out.
We're at the
No,
finals.
we did make the final four.
Okay.
For podcast of the year, just saying,
Give it up for us. Give it up
Give
for
it up
us.
for
I
us.
sent the picture to Michelle about saying we got nominated. She goes, "Oh, good, I get to go to the poker Oscars again."
But a much bigger deal is the Only Friends family or extended family, if you will. A lot of former guests. You see Daniel Wyman on there. He's been on the show. Big shout out to him. Prior to him winning the main event, by the
he did
way.
something. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. Santa, I love Santa.
Jamie,
Best Twitter
Marley.
personality is pretty much everybody who's ever been on the show.
Yeah.
Lynn,
This is just literally all of our friends.
Girls are
Yes.
cleaning up on Twitter.
Big shout out to our friends.
Do we think that it's ever going to be a year that Jamie's not nominated?
No.
Be tough not. How
I
could
think
you
that'd be
know?
hard. That she doesn't make the final
she's
four.
kind of a
She's kind
shoo-in
of she's
for
kind
the
of the best on Twitter.
nomination.
I'd really like to see Jamin win the Vlogger of the Year.
Me too.
It's well deserved. It's long overdue.
Yes.
Wait,
I
so
actually,
who
I
are the-
agree.
Oh, there's 4. 5.
yeah, there's 5. I actually, low-key, I'm kind of rooting for Negreanu too because I really do think he puts
Who's
a
the
lot.
bottom one? Is that?
I don't know him, but he looks like I'm guessing that is 100,000 subscribers, maybe 1 million. Might be 1 million because it's gold.
Mm-hmm.
Was it
I
a
thought the
million?
million was
what's
platinum.
platinum? I think million's a platinum.
Okay, then I'm not sure what gold is, but it's not 50
Oh,
because
he's
we
got
don't have a
in
plaque.
too. Oh, that's Wolfgang Poker.
Yeah, Wolfgang.
Oh,
yes,
okay,
Wolfgang,
okay.
yeah.
So
You don't
then
know
it's
his
a
real
million.
name.
So that's a million. I didn't know his real name either.
Mm-hmm.
Marley again with Caitlin for short form. Love to see it. Marley and Caitlin both had 3 noms, so big shout out to them. I think Platt and Henry are both in there for the
Commentator?
commentator of the year.
Let's
There
go.
we go. Let's see that.
I was
Big shout out.
surprised Henry wasn't.
Najat and Shulman
Henry
as well.
wasn't last year, right?
He was
I was
not.
surprised.
That's a stacked.
It's a stacked lineup. Would love to see
Yeah,
Henry
that
get his
really is.
first.
I think
Jeff,
that is
Henry,
like
Nick, and Ali. It's
Ooh.
like
that's who
Who do
I
you give
would.
it
That's
to?
who I
I
would
would-
expect it to. Like that's
yeah,
who I would choose.
right.
Yeah,
I would
But
like
who
to.
wins?
I would like to see Ryan Bogard win also.
probably Nick.
from the
People
win.
love Nick as a commentator.
Yeah. Well,
And a person.
You know, big shout out to Nick. He actually, there was one year, don't mean to brag, but I'm a part of the voting committee. And
This guy.
I sent an email out and I said, Eric, what the fuck? I'm voting on commentator of the year and Shulman's not in here. Like, I shouldn't have to write Shulman in.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
he's like, yeah, no. He asked to opt out. I'm like, what a humble,
Oh my
what
god.
a humble man.
What an
That's-
OG.
what an incredible man. Love Nick Shulman. Oh,
There we
Oh.
are.
So this is actually kind of interesting because this category's only existed for 5 years. I believe Poker in the Year's won it the first year, Chip Race the second, then Jen Shahade the third, and us the fourth. Now, every year I've thrown my hat in the ring for Brocus to win it.
Yep.
He's the only one in this category who has not won it yet. I can't say enough about how deserving I think he is as a podcast host. So right behind us, I hope that he wins this category.
we still want to win.
Yeah, if it was just my podcast, I would root for just him. But you know,
it's an honor
that's
just
the
to be
whole thing.
nominated.
That's right. You tell him, Lamanna. It's really just about being a part of it.
Brockus is the
So yeah,
best.
it is that time of year. I thought this wasn't until March, though. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but they always put it out early. Right?
I don't know. It feels really early.
It's almost February.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's 40,
It's late January.
60 days away, maybe.
It's almost your 50th birthday.
Relax.
Wow.
Fucking relax.
6 more days to your 50th,
Yeah,
big boy.
the big 5-0.
8 more years, you cocksuckers. Even when you put it like that.
42? Jeez, dude.
Even when you put it like
Bro
that,
is
50
old.
doesn't
Bro
seem
is
that
old.
far
It's
off.
not. I mean, 8 years is
42.
not a long time
Yeah,
anymore.
well, you know what? Fucking 40's not far for you either, okay?
I don't know
Wow.
about you, but
Well,
I'm feeling
well,
42.
12 years. I got 12 years.
Oh, 12 all of a sudden is just like a magnitude
12
beyond
is
8.
big.
Let me
8 is
tell you
not
how
that long.
fucking quick 12 years goes.
Trust me, I know.
For a tortoise, it goes very, very
Trust
quick.
me, I
I'm
know.
278 years old. You know? 12 years is a blink.
You don't look a day over 225.
Thank you, Matt.
Anytime, buddy. Anytime. To bring the tone down a bit, we lost a good one yesterday. You guys might not know him. Lamanna certainly does. That much I'm sure of. One Perry Friedman passed away yesterday at the age of 55.
Yep.
I knew Perry actually from my very first trip to Vegas. I don't know if you remember this. It was when I won my seat through Party Poker to play the main.
Okay.
First time I ever came out here. So we were staying, they put us up at the MGM Grand. And I don't know if you were with me or not, but I made my way down to the poker room and I had to play the biggest game in the room, of course. So they had a 5-5 uncapped game going, which, you know, normal stakes for us, 5-5, whatever. We were just used to $400 cap, uncapped 400, whatever. So I sit down and there's this guy across the table from me. He's like, you know, seems to be about 10 years older than me or so. And he has a fucking sock on his hand. And he's like asking it for poker advice mid-hand. I'm like, what is this fucking shtick? So it turns out it's Perry Friedman. He was quite the eccentric fellow. And I actually tweeted about this 2 years ago because he was on the feature table in the main. And I said, for all you youngins out there, Perry Friedman used to have a bit where he'd have a fucking sock on his hand and ask it poker advice mid-hand. And this wasn't just for the cameras. We're talking in the middle of the MGM Grand playing 5-5 uncapped. You guys have no clue what the early 2000s were like, man. Like, what a time to be
what
alive.
A time, yeah.
Damn, I should have
could've
been
seen
playing
anything.
poker instead of being 8.
I bet you wish that 12 years went faster then. You know? But Alex Livingston wanted to pay his respects. He said, played with Perry quite a few times in mixed games, WSOP events over the last few years. He was always full of joy at the table, a gracious winner and a good loser. A pleasure to be with, RIP. I believe Sean Deeb also told a story about him that I found to be quite interesting. He said, don't forget one of the most memorable hands at the 10K stud final table. He didn't realize that suddenly Bryce had 3-bet him on the river versus his open queens. So he happily announced that he had quads. Then when we said Bryce had raised, he snapped, said re-raise, and Bryce folds his kings full. Yeah, very unfortunate. John Manette said, Perry was always a blast to play with. He gave me a huge comment that I'll never forget. I was showing my ID at day 2 of a tournament, and he said to the dealer, don't bother checking his ID. No one else will play those chips better than him in a stud tournament anyway. So yeah, he was a really good guy. I think a lot of people don't know a lot of like what was going on behind the scenes in the early 2000s, but I'm pretty certain that he was the software developer for Full Tilt as well. So like the whole UI UX of Full Tilt, that glorious fucking software.
So good.
The one that you can throw poop at each other?
You can't throw poop at
Not poop, but you can throw stuff, right?
No, that's
a new thing.
Yeah,
that's what
new.
that was GG.
Yeah.
Well, I thought Full Tilt started that.
No, man.
They couldn't do that shit in the early
come on,
2000s on the computer.
Back in 1833, we were focused on the poker. All right, that's all that mattered.
Yeah, you understand? We come from a time where we played online poker on PCs and PCs only.
Yeah,
wasn't
With dial-up.
Yeah, with
Right?
dial-up. Yeah, while we were on AOL and
On
Messenger.
AOL?
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh my god.
yeah.
AIM was the
ASM.
best,
I was on
man.
Neopets.
What?
I was on Neopets.
Yeah,
No one knows what
nobody
that
knows
is.
what that is in this room.
We're
Not
old,
one-
we're not
I
female.
forgot you're old. It's not a female thing. It's just
Neopets?
yeah, Neopets.
If there's any men in the chat
There
that
will
knows
be.
what Neopets is or used it, please let me know.
Neopets was like that was when gamblers were made. Like
What exactly is a Neopet?
it was like a website where you you have these pets and you have
Raise
to
them?
but you have to like get points, Neo points,
Like
and there's a whole
Farmville kind of
economy.
thing, except with
no,
a
not
pet?
Farmville at all.
I
It
never
was
played
they
either,
had
so I
all
don't
these
know.
little
No,
not at
Farmville's
all. Farmville was way later. But there was like all these
For
little
suburban
games
moms.
and I used to play this game called Cheat, which was basically like bullshit, but
Right.
but on
Okay.
computer form.
Yeah.
But there was like all these card games and all these little, it was like gambling.
Sounds
but-
like Hitachi's, only, you can win stuff.
Wow. Wait, Hitachi's the things that we grow your little pet, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
and then your pet would get like you have to go and like get it food and feed it, and then it would be like pet's dying.
Your pet hasn't eaten in 47
yeah,
days. That's what I remember
I
seeing.
still have. I gotta log in and feed my pets. It's
I
been
was
a
gonna
few
say,
years.
why not just get a real pet? But
Been
then
like
after
10,
that, it's like
12, 15 years.
Tamagotchi, not Hitachi.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Tamagotchi.
Hitachi is the masturbation tool.
I'm sorry, what?
Hitachi magic wand is like that's like that. So
Well, that's one of the more rare Freudian slips I think I've fallen
Yeah.
into so far in
Yeah.
this podcast.
Tamagotchi.
That's a
is-
good one.
yeah.
Tamagotchi,
I knew it
Hitachi,
didn't
whatever.
sound
I
right.
knew what you meant.
I knew it didn't sound right, but I knew exactly what you were talking about. But somebody wrote it in the chat. They saved us.
Did you know that it didn't sound right, though?
Did
Yeah,
they
no,
say
no,
these are men saying
definitely.
they've played Neopets?
One.
Yes.
One said Neopets for the win. Nobody else has said anything else about
Well,
Neopets.
Okay.
They're a little shy. about the Neopets
That
use.
is. That's
Right.
That has to be it.
It's Joe Stetter. That's not Hitachi.
Y'all got way too much time on your hands. I gotta tell you that right now.
Wait, us or you?
You're the one with the
Whoever's out
Hitachis.
there fucking around with an Hitachi or whatever it's called. or a Neopet for that matter. Like,
I don't play anymore.
this sounds like something Mama Joe
Wait,
would
it's
do.
still a thing?
Yeah, Mama Joe and I should start playing again.
I would bet that Mama Joe
Mama Joe
probably
definitely.
played.
We've talked about it. I think.
Mm.
I think she's.
I would assume so, to be
Yeah.
quite honest.
Mama Joe's the
I had to
fucking
guess.
best. My God.
All right, let's
You didn't
shift
find
gears a
you
little
didn't
bit.
find that tangent asset yet?
Oh, I know where it's at.
Too
but
late. Tangent's over.
We don't have a big show really formed. We're just trying to catch up with Conrad and Melissa. So there are no such things as tangents today. It's
true.
just part of the run-up show. Just says like Melissa filler, Conrad filler.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Tangent.
That's what we got going on. All right. So one of the ideas for today's show was kind of talking about the theme of if you could restart your poker journey, how would you go about doing so? Or like what would be, I guess, your plan of attack? and this is probably a little bit less, maybe a little less relevant for Melissa because she's newish. She could probably give us some insight as to like where all the pitfalls are. But for me and Lamanna, seems inconceivable.
Yeah.
I don't know. What if starting tomorrow
you think
lost
like
it
you
all?
can't? You're saying like it would be so hard to start from zero today compared to when you started.
Well, I guess it depends on the question, right? It depends on the formulation of the question. Are you saying like if everything went to zero tomorrow and I had to start from scratch with what I currently know, or are we saying like I wake up tomorrow
As a
21?
a total new.
I think
like
you
you're-
wake up tomorrow.
Yeah,
21.
totally new.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
you don't have connections. You don't have
Am I
knowledge.
young or am I old?
You're 25.
Okay. So basically, like if I could go back to like 2006,
Yeah.
Right, but it's now.
but it's now.
Yeah.
I think the
Right.
main thing
In
would
today's
be,
landscape.
Okay.
like everything. I would have.
I'd be in the fucking muck.
Well, no, because you would just look at things differently, and everything
Yeah.
you've done would do moving forward would be just different because it'd be part of the landscape that you're in now.
Would you be a content creator?
I think.
How could you
well,
not
I would
wanna
watch
be?
the OnlyFriends podcast for sure.
Yeah.
You'd be like, wow, that guy with the backwards hat is so cool.
Yeah.
What a G. What a legend. Top G. No, I think that I would probably have a really hard time wanting to start now because
Yeah.
all the things that attracted me to it before are so like faux pas. You know what I mean? Like the notion of like freestyling and just like outwitting people at the table. You're an idiot if you do that.
Yeah.
Or at least you're perceived to be one. And the idea, I mean, I guess like maybe I'm selling myself short because I didn't hate all aspects of computer science. There were elements that I liked, and some of it was a little bit of the structure. I liked being able to color outside the lines also, but maybe I just would be all into the idea similar to like Landon, where it's like you pick up this game and you get some sort of like desire to play it, and then all of a sudden there's just a template for you where it's like you go on a website and they're like, here's a tool.
Here's your fundamentals.
Right, yeah. Here's a tool that will teach you all of the entry-level things in
Yeah.
order to be a winner.
Quite honestly, I think you would thrive in this type of situation, being like just restarting. I think that you do very well because I think you like the grind, you like the study, you like I think that you would just pick up things and you would just have resources available to you instead of freestyling it.
Building a starting bankroll is definitely way harder now.
Way,
right?
way
Like,
tougher.
And it's really hard to get out of the rake traps of low stakes, and you don't have like free money all over the
Right.
place to get yourself started now. So it's
Building
like,
the bankroll might not be that tough. It's sustaining while at that low point
yeah.
because at least back then, you could lean very heavily into high variance games rather, and just run well.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of how the survivors were born. We talked about this in 2016. I can't remember my starting table at the Super High Roller Board. Maybe it was 2017. But we were talking about like how survivorship bias works. And the example that came up was like, well, Fedor is Fedor because he made $1,000 deposit online, failed, and then put another 1,000 online, and then
Just
failed
keep
again.
gambling.
And yeah, it's just like the guy, the coal miner
Yeah.
digging, you know, the one where it's just like real gamblers.
Guy who stopped gambling and guy who kept gambling.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like, it kind of is that the survivorship bias is a byproduct of people who are just resilient enough and tolerant enough to lose a bunch of money up front.
Yeah.
And that's hard if you don't come from some level of resource or wealth or network or whatever. So like, yeah, I mean, the idea of like hustling at 24, 25, maybe content would be it. But at that age, I had no shot.
It seems to be like a pretty popular entry point for that age group at this point.
For sure.
Like content. I mean, I started with streaming. Like I was just content. I didn't want to be good at poker. I was playing like dollar MTTs on Twitch. So
To be fair, this is probably
How'd your audience go?
loved it. and the last time I streamed, actually, like I played the rat hole that's $1 buy-in, and I just like wailed around. It was so fun, and the audience loved it. I mean, I
That's
think
like
it's
watching
so,
porn.
Yeah, it's just so it's fun to just like be stupid online.
Yeah, you play like 5 cent, 10 cent dollar min max.
And I wasn't using a card cover, and I was not using a delay, and I was just like, whatever. We were doing PLO flips. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
10 big blind PLO flips for $1. I was down like $200 at the end. $1 buy-ins each.
200 buy-ins.
That's pretty strong.
To be
But
fair,
it's just fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
this might be the only thing that I've done right, and this is probably how I would start again. I would deal.
Yeah.
I would deal private games.
That's what Pat said to do.
I would deal private games and just make all the money
That Pads, man, he's
and
sharp.
hold on to it.
You would hold on to it.
And then I would
Doubt.
wait. Well, I'm just saying.
Are you projecting? Is this your path forward right now?
I don't know what my path forward is, but just saying, I would just deal a lot of private games and, make all the money.
Yeah.
And then go into poker.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of spin-off questions to this, I guess. And I guess like pulling at the thread before we go into the just working in the service industry, I guess like pulling on the thread of content creation, like I believe that you're right that it's a very low barrier of entry there as opposed to trying to like become a break-even player. The barrier of entry to being break-even is so high, even with all the resources available, which, by the way, when you're at that entry level, are very fucking expensive.
Yeah.
The whole market is priced for like the guy who's been on the grind for too long and is sick of it.
Yeah.
And has like expendable income and can afford it. But like for the young up and coming
Like
college kid,
multiple hundreds a month if you're doing like, Wizard plus maybe like a video site plus whatever. And then it ends up being, a few hundred a month. And then if you're not playing stakes that can make up for that, it's just like you're just losing money.
yeah. I will say that there's probably more good free content available now than
That's
ever
true.
in the past.
Yeah, but there's like so much content that it's like how do you know what's good and what's not?
Right.
It's so saturated in that like the free content on YouTube and stuff that like people can really get led astray really easily.
Yeah, there's like a big difference between if you stumble into like a Frankie short as opposed to like a 2-card confidence short.
Yes.
Right? Like one is
And
meant to be
beginners
entertaining.
aren't going to be like drawn to 2-card confidence because he's
Correct.
talking about blockers and EV and equity and this was a blunder by Jason Coote. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So like a beginner is going to be like, I don't really want to watch that. And then they're going to lean towards the more entertainment stuff.
Right. So I got jacks under the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hate this hand.
Right.
Don't know how to play jacks ever. So I'm going to fold.
Tough
And like
hand,
then
man.
they're like, yeah, me too.
Right. And that just becomes a thing.
Reject me, daddy.
I can't believe how fast that turned into a thing. She said it in passing, and I was just kind of like, that's actually kind of funny.
I laughed.
And then it was just like the daily viewers are just like constantly in the chat with like reject me dad every time we're doing like in the muck. And I'm like, oh my God, how did this become the thing? Like of all the
Catchy.
things. Yeah, I mean, the things that you and Nikki say will always catch on a lot easier, I think. But yeah, like going down that content space, it's interesting to me because the prerequisite of being good is almost a downside to becoming a new content creator. Like I know when we first got into the vlogging game, it was very early. Like the only established vloggers at that point were Nimi, the Trooper, and I want to say, man, maybe Vibes. No, Owen was. We were blogging in 2016. Like he might have come on slightly thereafter, but like Nimi had only been doing it for a few months at this point.
Okay.
He was big. He was like maybe 50,000 subs, but like this was like really early into his vlogging. So I want to say maybe Johnny was doing stuff at that point, but I can't really recall. In any event, like we were in a wide open market. Nobody was really doing it yet. There were people like playing around. We had a full production team. We had the fact that like I was playing nosebleeds and like Christian and Jai were playing like relatively high stakes, and it just fell so flat. Nobody wanted to see the thing that they were aspiring to. They want to see the thing
That they're at.
that they're stuck in.
Right.
They want someone in the fucking muck every single day. They want Lamanna at the Jewel interviewing.
I miss
That's
my
what
true
kind of what
calling,
Trooper is, right? They like
Yeah.
they like Trooper because it's
Should I start
their
vlogging?
stakes.
They love Trooper.
Well,
You should.
it's a
You should
love-hate
start
thing,
vlogging.
I think.
Going to get my hot dog.
That's right.
Like, I think if you look at the way the Trooper timeline went, it's a really good indicator as to like how fickle the creator industry is. He was very beloved. He was effectively the godfather. He was the original one to do it, and he was certainly an everyman. But by being an everyman, he's obviously incredibly flawed, and he doesn't do anything to hide that. So it didn't take very long for someone more polished like Nimi to come out, somebody more let's say strategy driven like Owen to come out and things like that now make Troopers previously like endearing spirit of just being open, honest, and an everyman become like the hateable villain.
Yeah.
And if you like read the 2+2 thread, they started a vlogger thread maybe early 2016 that was basically around Falling Troopers content, then eventually Nemi, and then Owen and whoever else got in the middle. If you like search Troopers' name on there now, like they treat him like an athlete that's like fallen on hard times and is living under the bridge or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Good
it's just every day they're just berating him. Go
Good
ahead.
question. I've only seen maybe 2 of Nemi or Brad's vlogs, but they don't really do any strategy, right? Like it's just like this is what happened. This is what.
No, they do. They kind of explain like why they do stuff,
Okay.
like
Why
they
as
play
they're
the
doing the
hand,
hand
yeah.
histories.
Okay.
I think Brad specifically is more like what you're saying. Like he just pumps out the hands. Like
Yeah.
every vlog is templated. It's like going to be 10 or 15 hands where he doesn't say like,
This
you
is
know,
why.
this is why, or this is good, or this is bad. It's just like got the jiggities. And, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And it's smart because like it was fast, it was rapid. You got to see a lot of things. It was like watching a live stream of sorts. And then, you know, he would interject his personality very sparsely, right? Like just throwing out the jiggities, and then just became like a fucking thing. Like that's just the thing now. I think Rampage was probably like the best version of Trooper plus Brad mixed together.
I think there's one ingredient that, and it's not just in poker, like you see it in the regular gambling vlogs and stuff, that is really, really sticky for people, is just degeneracy.
Yeah.
People love to see people
to see
being
that.
irresponsible with their money because like that it's like why people watch mukbangs. Like they're like, oh, I would never eat that much, but I want to watch
Right.
someone else do it. Like they want to see people being like irresponsible and ruining themselves.
Yeah, like people playing slots and playing video poker, like there's tons of them on YouTube. People just
Well,
watch
like
people
there's like
play slots.
Bresky, like he blew up, and actually I met him when I played poker with him like last year before he started YouTube stuff, and now I see him on my front page all the time. He's like hilarious. So you have the loud personality, plus you have the degeneracy,
Right.
and I think that's just so sticky for people.
And like with slots too, it's the visual, right?
Yeah.
Like you just get trapped in the
Right.
blue zone right with them, where
Yes.
you're just
Oh my god,
like, spin it again!
it's just like because they're literally designed to have that effect
Yeah.
on your brain.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so you just get that vicariously, and
Which is
I
nice.
think,
You don't have to put your own money up.
Yeah, exactly.
You
That's
still
like
get the
people just
dopamine.
they want the voyeurism, and I think it's like that degeneracy. Like DePaulo kind of like he has that
Yeah.
funny degenerate sort of branding.
Right.
Like I think that just is works.
I was in the Borgata the other day, and
getting your
DePaulo.
face slapped.
Hold on. And DePaulo's like, I'm at the video poker machine. I was like, okay, I'll be right there. So I walked around, I looked for video poker machines, and all the new ones, all the ones that look decent, whatever, he's not there. So I turned the corner, and this man was playing a machine from the fucking 50s. When I mean from the 50s, this had to be the oldest machine in the goddamn world. And I was
Listen,
like,
man, if it had a better pay table, then he should be there.
I was like, DePaulo, what are you doing? It's like, you're playing from a machine from the 50s. He's like, oh no, man, just called my name.
Yeah, you gotta love it. Yeah, I think that you know, all things considered, the content route is a smart one to go, and I think we've seen a lot of success stories come out of that. Like, you know, we just kind of featured Wolfgang. He cracked 1 million subs. I think he was the first to do it. The Next Gen crew, they got signed by Stars. We saw Marley ink a deal with Stars. I'm trying to think. There's definitely been more that we're overlooking.
I mean, that's the route to sponsorship, right? Like
Has to be.
content is because like content creators are the new advertiser.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have an audience, there's advertisers are going to come.
Especially if you're young,
Yeah.
right? Like, you know, we've captured some sort of audience, but like we're a lot more dug in. I'm going to be very particular about like the people that we work with and things like that. Where if I'm 22 and someone's offering me a bag, I don't give a shit what you're, you know what I mean? Back then, it's not like I've formulated much outside of I need to pay rent.
Yeah.
Right.
And if I'm playing 50 cent a dollar, just like struggling to make grocery
someone
money.
offers you 80K or something.
Yeah.
Even if it's like low for the market, you don't care.
Right. Yeah, of course. And I mean, we did like cheap labor all the time. I'm still a part of this app called Instapoker that has to be, I assume, dead at this point.
Are you an ambassador?
Well, no, I was a content creator for it. So you could like buy in-app, I don't even know what to call them, like
Packs.
Packs.
Oh, and someone can play as you?
Yeah, so you play mock hands that I created, and then it gives you advice for each like decision point. But this is 2012.
Yeah.
So the advice is literally just like what I would do in this spot in game, and it means nothing. There's no relevance to it. There's no context of like who you're playing against or anything like that. It's just literally like folds you in the cutoff and you have ace queen
We're
off.
gonna limp.
Like open 5x.
Yeah.
And then
I'm employing a 5x or limp strategy.
Yeah. Right. So like, I look back on it, it's like I did that for like fucking nothing. It was like I think we got like 25% of the sales of our exact pack after Apple took their piece, and the packs were like $5. So it's like you make a few $100 a year, and it was like 40 or 50 hours worth of work. It's like it didn't matter though. It was just like, like I'll just invest a small amount of time in this thing that this other person seems to believe in, and maybe it'll just blow up, and maybe I can make like $20,000 someday.
Right.
It's just like, how dumb, like how silly was I?
How dumb.
Like that's not even, I mean,
Just
you
had
can't
some
project the
hope.
future, right?
Who knows? Maybe it could have blown up and you could have been the guy on that app.
No, it would have been Jonathan for sure. I remember
Insta Berkey.
I remember having a conversation with Jonathan like in 2014, so like 2 years after we had signed or whatever. Dan and I were both a part of it. We were both just done. We're like, this is so much fucking work. Like it was so tedious to enter everything, and the UI UX wasn't great and all this other stuff. It was just like, God, this is exhausting. Like we don't want to do it. It's definitely not worth it. And we were also doing really well in poker. Like I'm playing high stakes at this point. So I remember talking to Jonathan. He was just like, well, if you make 20 packs a year and you're making $1,000 per pack on the return, that's $20,000 extra a year. I go, yeah, but like,
Who wants to make
what
20
if
packs?
no one buys it? Like making 20 packs would take me 300 or 400 hours.
Yeah, but if you're him, you can grind infinite hours.
Exactly. Well, I didn't realize that he just had like a fucking sweatshop
Yeah.
grinding out these packs for him. Like, yeah, okay. Well, if I can pay someone 50
Some
cents an hour to
Malaysian
fucking
guy
do
is doing his fucking packs.
Yeah, it's like, no, it doesn't matter. Just tell them
While
to
he's
do
just
something
playing
with these
sit and
hands. Yeah, well, he's got a little stable sit and go mode. He's going, fuck. All right. So content aside, let me pose this question to you guys: live or online?
Today?
Yeah.
Live.
It's not even close.
Yeah. Well, honestly,
expensive.
I was about to say,
But it doesn't matter.
It kind of depends, right? Because it like if you're starting with like no bankroll, very
Okay,
very
what's our
limited,
starting bankroll?
Yeah.
Let's assume that we're all
300
20,
bucks?
let's assume we're all 23 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a couple.
So let's say that you have the ability to
But
get a
I'm
hold of
working
it.
at a
couple
thrift
thousand
store.
bucks.
I'm making
Okay.
16 an hour.
I'm
You
doing
got
game.
$1,000 set aside, and let's say 3 months without having to worry about your expenses.
Oh,
Like
man.
either your parents are taking care of it, or you've already paid it
Okay.
ahead, or whatever. But you got $1,000 to work with, and 90 days time. To,
I mean
to
that's
pay
the thing.
bills.
That's like that would be very difficult to just.
I
That's
think
a couple
I
buy-ins.
think I think you
live at the lowest
start
stakes.
grinding online not to make money but to
To
get
learn
hands
and
in.
get yeah.
At 23
And then
hours.
you shot take out some live 1-3.
Actually,
It's it's funny because like you still need something else, right? I think this day and age, no matter what your situation is, unless you're like ridiculously flush, you need some other source of income. It just makes the journey so much easier.
Yeah,
right?
but at 23, what the fuck else are you doing?
How replenishable is
you could
this
drive
1K?
Uber. You could literally drive Uber and pay your bills.
Uber's an interesting.
Right.
it isn't.
You drive Uber and pay your bills.
It's a
and
joke.
then-
But
and then-
Uber, like you need to put in a lot of hours to
Yeah,
make
Uber
money.
is kind of a
Also,
joke.
there's diminishing
If you're 23,
returns.
what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, but the more hours you put in at Uber, like the more the expenses start to rack up.
It's an
Yep, your
opportunity
car
cost too.
goes-
Like you could be working on poker if that's what you want to do, and then
Yeah.
suddenly you're
Yeah.
spending 12 hours a day driving Uber.
And you're
Right.
23, like 12 hours a day, and like nobody has that attention
Yeah.
span.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just not happening.
I would mow lawns.
mow lawns.
I would deal poker games and babysit children like I did for $30K a month.
Yeah.
I think I would just stream. I would just do what I did.
Yeah, there's something to that because like even when we were coming up, being an affiliate whore was like worth a lot.
Yeah,
our,
I mean,
our roommate Greg made like $100K his first year just
when I was
affiliating.
starting,
Wait,
like I made $3K a month from the ACR Stormers thing.
Right.
You mean bonus whoring, right?
Both.
Okay.
your
Back
affiliate
then you could do affiliates where you would get like 75% of the person's rake back that you signed up. So rakeback deals were like really generous.
They don't do that anymore.
Shit,
they
that's
do
better than
they
app
do like a
games.
flat, like you get $100 per sign up or
Well,
something.
app games you can get like pretty sick rakeback deals.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
I mean,
Hey,
you just have to not have a conscience.
Yeah, I know. I can't because I've publicly shit on app games too
Same.
much that I couldn't be an affiliate.
I've
for
been
one now.
offered more than 100% rakeback, which makes me think that the game was either cheated or I was a fish. And both could very well be true. And then I've been also offered additionally like up to 80% rakeback of anybody that I brought.
Oh, that's like
It just
something going
the whole
on.
thing just felt like, I mean, like, tell me you're cheating me without telling me
That's
you're
like
cheating
a
me.
crazy
you know?
cheating Ponzi.
But like if you
Yeah.
think about it, like it doesn't have to be cheated. Like
It doesn't have to
they're
be,
just
but-
making 20% of somebody that didn't have.
So it's just unbeatable rake.
Right? The rake is high, of course, but
The rake was massive. It was like a
you're
short
getting
stack
rake
game.
back, but it's like making you like you're still like 2x normal rake when you
Yeah,
look with the rake
so I
back.
played the game a little bit, and it was like it was a full big blind ante per person at the table, up to 8-handed. So it was 100
That's
by
the rake.
No. That was the actual structure of the game.
Oh.
So the point is that every hand was maxed rake.
I'm sorry. When Berkey realized how much he made in rake back from this game, I remember him sitting on the couch and he goes, "Holy shit. I've made X amount in rake back in 24 or 48 hours or something stupid."
Yeah.
The number was absurd.
I played like it was one table, and I played a total of like 12 hours over 2 days or so, and it was one big blind ante per person, up to 8-handed, so it could be 8 big blinds in the middle. They're taking 3 big blinds in rake, and it's obviously getting max raked every single hand because there's 10 blinds in the pot pre-flop, right?
Jeez.
And then it's 100 big blind cap. So you're effectively playing like somewhere around like 10 big blinds effective because of the SPR of the pot. So it's just an all-in fest, and every hand is max raked, and you're just riding the variance wave. I ended up winning I think I was winning 1 big blind per 100 when it was all said and done. So I made like
Pretty good
I
for
think
rake back.
yeah. Well, no. This was just my win rate.
Oh, with
So
the rake.
with after rake was taken, I was making like 1 big blind per 100, but it was only over like a couple thousand hands. So I had made like I think we were playing 25-50. I had made like $2,000 or something like that.
I think it was more than that. I think it was like
But
35.
My rake back,
yeah.
my rake back was 6 big blinds per 100.
So where is that coming from?
Well,
The rake.
I'd lost like 10 big blinds per 100 to rake.
Oh, okay.
So my true win rate was probably like 11 bigs per 100, something along those lines. And then I got like 80% of my rake back. So I was making like, in the short term, I was making like 7 or 8 big blinds per 100. But obviously, like, I just did some quick math and I was like, okay, no way I can sustain a 1 big blind per 100 win rate. Like, true win rates here are probably like 3 bigs per 100 pre-rake. And I'm losing like, maybe
you're
10
running
to
good.
the rake. So it was just like, all right, I'm dead. Like, I'll get 75% of my losses back and end up like just losing small, and I jump ship. But those games exist. And like Conrad said, they don't have to be cheated. You don't even need to cheat them because like they're just cold
Cheated.
hands. And they're getting max rates.
You're
So the
just
path
cheating
for the
up with the
beginner
rake.
is not the app games.
It's to run.
Unless they're running the
app game.
if you're
Don't play
moral,
them.
if you don't have any moral qualms with
Right.
it, then sure, yeah,
Yep,
that would be the way.
Get a bunch of friends, run app games, run poker games.
Just
do-
rob your
good.
friends slowly with rake, and then you have a bankroll.
Yeah.
I do think that this is kind of the tricky thing because when we were coming up, home games were like a big part of what kept us afloat. Like, we would play small stakes, smaller than the casino, 25 cent, 50 cent dollar.
That's when
up
we
to-
first started coming up. Like, that was before we even were playing in casinos.
I mean, even when we were, like, we'd
weren't
meet
even
somebody
21
and would
yet.
go to, like, Menor, Ohio, or play a 1-2 underground game, stuff like that,
I mean, for what it's worth, it's still a huge part of everybody's upcoming.
Yeah, because they're on the fucking apps now.
Well,
And they're
Yeah,
getting
a lot
raked.
of people.
depending,
are
but
on
there's still a lot of house games in the middle of like nowhere where there's a casino 2 hours away, and like, you know what I mean?
Sure,
Just
sure.
like home games just run.
Yeah.
Like it's a huge part of people coming up in the game.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it felt like it was very trusted. They were all rake free, so we weren't losing anything there.
Yeah.
The players
these ones
were
are
Start a
rake.
home game with all your friends that are bad at poker, and they'll keep
Exactly.
you afloat.
Exactly.
That's what Berkey and I did.
Precisely. I think what we are landing on, though, is like networking seems to be a big backbone to any short-term sustainability.
Yeah, you have to.
Right. Like, even if you're not leaning on people to like borrow or support you in some capacity, like you still need this like kind of wide net to potentially at least set yourself up for the opportunity to win, which becomes really tricky when you're 23 and you live in like Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we'd be grinding fucking
Most
rivers.
of it's on. Most of networking happens online anyway.
That's true. That is true.
In
And
today's
honestly,
day
like,
and age.
yeah, like if we were starting over again in Pittsburgh, we'd have WSOP online, we'd have Stars online.
Yeah.
we'd
That's
have-
true.
you'd
You would
have
have
Rivers Casino.
regulated-
Yeah, we'd have Rivers.
Right.
Short trip to AC. You know, basically
shit
do it all over again.
Ain't
Exact
shit.
same way.
Time out. Ain't shit short to Atlantic City from fucking Pittsburgh.
6 hours.
There's
5
Yeah,
if I'm
that's
driving.
long.
It's only 6 if
fucking
Tortoise is driving.
long. Jesus Christ.
You said Pittsburgh, not Leechburg. If it's
Okay.
Leechburg, then yes, it's 5 hours.
Pittsburgh's not an hour away, you clown.
What's that?
Pittsburgh is not
What's
an hour away from home.
It's 45 minutes away.
For you live in the boondocks.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying.
Pittsburgh's also closer to the turnpike than we are.
Yeah, it's true.
So, yeah, whatever.
Regardless.
I just don't drive slow, is my point. And Tortoise, he crawls.
I'm with you,
I
Tortoise.
have a few
Me
speeding
too.
tickets.
You gotta be,
I'm with you,
gotta be
Tortoise.
safe out there.
Do you have speeding tickets, or did you get pulled over for going too slow in the fast
Right,
lane?
yeah, that's what it was.
Listen, I never drove over 70 miles per hour, really.
No?
Like, unless the speed limit's 70, I'll drive 80.
Yeah.
But, like, when it comes down to it, never over 10 miles.
All the
Always
things
nine-
you gamble
9
with
miles
in your
over.
life.
That is the one
That'll
thing
get
I
you.
don't
At least
gamble
he's-
with.
well, yeah,
'Cause
at
I don't
least
wanna
he's
get pulled
safe
over.
behind the wheel.
I think he's more worried about what happens if he gets pulled over.
Yeah, we
Me
can't get pulled
too.
over.
Me too, man.
I mean, I'm riding clean, but I don't want to get pulled
Me
over,
too.
man. I used to live in North Carolina. Like, you know, getting pulled over outside of Wilmington, that shit, you can't have that happen.
No.
Can't
Yeah.
have that happen. When you're black, oh, no, no, no.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man.
Yeah.
know exactly what you're talking about. All right, so we established mostly would be live. Some would fall into content. I actually don't think.
Well,
that
I
could
don't
fall
know.
into
I
content.
don't know if it would be live with a 1K bankroll.
That's true.
Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not
it's
very
it's
much.
definitely not online, though.
I know.
It's
but,
like,
but
what
you
do you
have to get
do?
hands in somehow. I think that you
But-
get better by just getting hands in online.
You might get better, but you're just going to make more money against Joe, the guy fucking that owns the pizza shop,
Maybe.
at playing live.
Or you just
Pizza Shop
go
Joe's
bust.
big.
Like,
I think maybe the answer is just the jewel.
The answer is the
Don't.
jewel.
It's
the answer is not the fucking
Well,
Jewel.
maybe because it's
Go
low
to the Jewel.
variance.
Only,
Yeah.
only for Tortoise
Low
is the
win
answer.
rate, low
Jewel.
variance.
I rebuilt many a bankroll at Red Rock.
Yeah.
Many a bankroll.
The jewel.
Many a bankrolls were rebuilt at the old Rock.
Listen.
I mean, there's
Welcome
also
to the
like
Rock.
the other route of networking and then getting a staking deal.
That's true too.
Mm-hmm.
Which would probably happen by putting in hands online,
Right.
Yeah.
having something to show.
See, yeah, there is a lot more to. There's a lot more viable paths, especially if you take the study aspect seriously.
you
Like,
want to become a.
Quite honestly, this is just
whiz.
Landon's path, what we're
This
saying.
is Landon.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
literally
for sure.
like between the networking online, between the playing online, getting hands, and just like whatever, studying and like whatever.
that's definitely
It's
one
literally
path.
Landon's
One
path.
path would definitely be like get a Wizard subscription. Shout out to the Wizard. # Wizard in the chat if you guys want a sign up code.
Use our ref link.
Yeah, use the reference link. So you get a Wizard subscription. You put in 10,000 hands on the trainer. You put in 10,000 hands online, and then you send it to pads, and you try to get into fucking BitB staking.
Yeah, you just keep messaging pads like,
Right.
hey man, like
Right.
send him hands, like respond to his hands, like just
Yeah.
become a reply guy, like to the nth degree.
Right. Do
And then
timestamps.
eventually he'll be like, this guy's super annoying, but he's really like,
Right. So driven.
he's really driven.
Quite honestly, like this is
what
literally.
Landon did.
Well, not even only Landon. Like this is the path for today because look
Yeah.
at Nick Seward.
If you're sharp. If you're sharp.
Look
this
at
is the
look
path.
at Nick
The pa-
Seward. He's
if
done the
you
same
want to
shit.
become like
true.
a wizard,
Yeah. Look, no
Then-
joke. I love Nick.
I love Nick too.
This is very unfortunate timing for him, but it actually worked out incredibly well, big picture. He and one other kid had emailed us at the same time wanting to show an interest in just interning for us. And I didn't really like have anything that fit into quote unquote intern work really well. And I obviously didn't want to have them like doing things that they should be paid for. So it was like really kind of in between. I was just like, yeah, I don't really have much, but like, you know, I'll link you up with our marketing guy, Bobby. Like maybe he has like something small. And I think Nick ultimately like landed on maybe helping with some emails or something along those lines. But there was this other kid, I can't recall his name any longer. Well, he never really like started.
Oh.
But I had a phone conversation with both of them. And this kid was brilliant. He went to like CMU. It was clear that he was like really deep into theory already as like a 20 or 21 year old. And just like had a very easy onboarding process to like being able to be like, you know, call it like live 2.5 plus without much issue. And he was like actually helpful. I was giving him some like outline strategy stuff and he was like pretty good at it and like fired it up pretty quickly. But he obviously lost interest like really, really, really fast, as I would too if I was like, you know, not really getting paid. And, you know, he wasn't like leaning on me too much to like pick my brain or anything like that. But Seward, I talked to him and he just reminded me so much of like me and my friends when we were at that exact age and just had this like dying, burning passion for poker. And I just remember getting off the call and talking to Landon. I go, so we got 2 interns. This one kid, he's brilliant. Like he just reminds me of like, he's going to become the machine. You know, it was like when Landon had the whole Child of the Sim thing. I was like, you know, he's going to replace you as Child of the Sim. And I was like, there's this other kid. He reminds me of me and Lamanna. He's fucking drawing dead.
I fucking love Nick. He's so good.
And the irony is, like, Nick is so good now. Like, Landon kind of took him under his wing. He's out there, like, grinding MT. I would have never pushed him the MTT path. God bless him. But, you know, he's doing really well. He had his first 6-figure score last year. I think he final tabled one of the win majors and got third for, like, 275-ish.
Yep, that's correct.
Something along those lines.
It was like a 3.5K, I think.
Yeah. And so it's like, A, I'm really happy he proved me wrong. But B, it does kind of demonstrate like how critical that drive is over maybe like just a natural aptitude for getting the math.
Well, you need, especially if you're going to do MTTs, you need to have the drive or you're going to quit.
Yeah.
There's absolutely horrible.
You need to be.
I mean.
That's how you really feel.
You know, I'm coming
You've
around.
never had a big MTT score, have you?
No, because I don't play them because I don't enjoy them.
If you had one early, then you'd have been
find them
hooked
to be scams.
Yeah, Lamanna won the Mulligan in 2008.
Yeah, so
and
you
just never looked back.
keep grinding MTTs, you're down 60K, and then you win one for 55.
Major before I won the Mulligan.
That's true. That is, you did. You took us all to Hibachi.
That's right.
It was my first and only time at Hibachi. What were you gonna say, Conrad?
Oh, I was going to say something.
You're coming around.
Oh, yeah. No, you got to be an absolute fucking psychopath to play these things. Let me tell you something about MTTs. You have to be out of your fucking mind to play them.
You have to be okay with losing a lot.
Yeah, no, I
don't like losing.
Yeah.
So that kind of becomes the next question then. MTTs or cash?
Cash.
MTTs.
Unless you have a backer and I don't
if you're
know,
coming
like,
up, I think cash because it's so tough.
Just so high variance, especially live.
I would say MTTs.
MTTs.
Why?
Because you can have a big score right away, and then you're kind of established. Where it's so hard.
You can get
you could have a big score.
You can get lucky.
Yeah.
The barrier of entry is low. Like if you're playing online MTTs, you can play like Lamanna does on WSOP for like $10. And then lastly, if you put together like any sort of competent graph, getting backed in MTTs is so much easier.
Yeah, it's true too.
That's true. It's
like
easier than
so much easier. Night and day easier.
Yeah.
Also fewer bots, I guess. You know, not to tip our hand a little bit, but I had a little something come across my desk this morning that's just like, okay, we're gonna have to talk about this one. But it seems as though there might be another. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about it tomorrow. But it looks like there might be another super using case on GG at Micros. Didn't really come through the whole thread yet. Don't want to like, you know, imply something that isn't necessarily true, but I've been talking to Pads for a few days about this. They've been waiting to go public. So it seems as though we might have another Breach.
For what it's worth,
Here we go again.
For what it's worth, you're at my desk, so that kind of came across my desk, not your desk.
Oh,
if it would have
okay.
you're over here, it
Right.
came across your desk, but that's my desk. Sorry.
Okay.
Get
But
it
yeah,
off
you
my
know.
desk.
Okay.
We'll get you out of there soon.
I was actually at home.
Yeah, I
in
would
the
never
kitchen.
recommend MTT. If someone was like, I want to start, I would never be like.
Yeah.
But I guess if they are sick enough,
Yeah, get them developed
if
into
it
the
depends
pain.
if they're sick or not.
Well, you know,
If they're sick,
Well, if they're not sick, they're drawn dead.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
problem.
yeah, I guess that's true.
You have to be sick in the head for this game in general.
It's really a litmus test of how sick are you? Like, are
I mean,
you
I
sick enough?
started with like dollar MTTs. I started it was only online MTTs.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a lot. It would
You
be
fucked Landon up
It
in
would
the World
definitely be a
Series.
lot
Yeah.
easier to turn like 1,000 into 10K playing these $10 tournaments.
Way
Would
easier to
be-
turn it into 0 too.
I mean,
Yeah, but it's all
You gotta
replenishable.
you gotta be able to recognize the.
well, I think it's but
The
I mean,
game
if
is the
you're-
game.
But if you're playing cash, and you're playing like if you're gonna play live cash and you have $1,000, like you have a couple buy-ins and you just have
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
bad
And
sessions
you can
and
just
you're
like
done,
run
Yeah.
bad.
right?
I mean, it's
Whereas if you're just grinding a bunch of small stakes MTTs online, like $1,000 can
It can go.
It can go a while.
we're talking
Like
about a
10
25,
sessions.
26-year-old. So
Maybe.
like this money's
You get 10
replenishable.
sessions instead
Yeah,
of one.
10 sessions is pretty good.
Like-
You better run good though.
Yeah.
Like
You're
this
done.
money's all replenishable, I think. So like when it comes down to it, it's like, yeah, you're gonna
True,
lose.
too.
Yeah,
Uh,
it depends how replenishable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, at $1,000,
I mean, it
it
is.
should be. Yeah, I mean, you can go and
You can
like
sell
said, you
your
can-
pieces of flesh like
you
Berkey
could-
did.
You could sell pieces of flesh. I mean, you have 2 kidneys. I wouldn't
That's
get rid
true.
of both of them. But
Yeah, I
at
think
least
you can
put
get around
one.
40K for a kidney.
Wait, hold on. I can get what?
I think you can get 40K.
I gotta go.
Oh,
I'm getting rid of my
and
shit
if you're
right
a woman,
now.
if you're a woman, you could become a surrogate for like
Now we're
80K.
talking, yes.
You could sell your eggs for 9K.
Yeah, you got a lot of things you can donate before
When
your
you're a woman,
kidneys.
you're like a farm. You can sell your eggs. Like you can sell your eggs for like 9K a batch. You can do surrogacy for like 80K.
And if it's
I
a,
mean,
if it's a celebrity, you might get a lot more.
No, apparently I thought so too, but apparently they just pay the same rates as everyone else. Yeah. But they give you perks.
You're like carrying
they probably
like
give
Kim
you some
K's baby.
specialized doctors, medicines, and supplements. But I don't think you get.
Yeah, you'll be a little more healthy at the end.
You maybe get paid and.
So I guess the last question then to Breach is
Why haven't you sold your eggs?
yeah,
Because
what are you waiting for?
I looked at the qualifications and they said if you have bipolar in your family,
sorry,
you're not.
sorry.
Everybody has bipolar
I
these
know.
days. Come
Everyone's got a
on.
bipolar aunt or uncle.
Right, yeah.
So what the hell?
Like, what are
I
we
guess I
doing?
could just lie, but I don't know.
Chat's going crazy. They said 40 fucking K where?
On the black market, you have to go to like Tijuana. So there's a little risk.
Oh, that's what Guapo's doing.
The scalpel's
little-
the scalpel's a little rusty.
There's a little
It's,
risk baked in, but you might get sepsis.
Sure.
You might get necrotic flesh.
Maybe they'll just give you a tetanus shot first. It's fine.
Yeah, then you're fine.
Yeah, totally,
Totally
fine.
fine.
I think it's reasonable. All right, so the last
It's not
question.
financial advice.
For me, it is. I'll see you guys later.
Conrad's
Honestly-
gonna come back with a scar on his.
Honestly, I might just answer my own question before I ask it. But okay, say you are able to run it up to a workable bankroll. Let's
What's
call
that?
it.
10K?
Let's call it 30,000.
30,000. That's yeah.
Now, what's the 6-month plan? Like, let's just go around
Live
the room.
2.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Live
So I'll start with you guys because there's 2 of you in the shot. Go ahead.
Live 2.5.
That you're just grinding.
We're grinding.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go the live route for sure.
Okay.
2-3 at the jewel.
Okay.
I'm 100% behind the go to cash at this point because you can just build from here.
Yeah.
And you no longer need to get lucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would just say 5'10" because you're a sick fuck. And,
Conrad's gonna go 5,100.
We're
Like,
either going broke or
3
we're getting-
buy-ins.
I
We're
played
getting rates.
5'10" on way less than
Yeah, exactly. That's not my point. Like, way
Right, but
less.
the 5-10 games back then were, I'm sure,
Yeah.
a lot softer than they are now.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of 10, 20 games running around. 5'10" seems fine.
That's true. They have they've separated the
They've
5'10".
separated in Vegas.
Yeah.
5'10" games seem a
3K
little bit
cap,
better than they
maybe.
used to be. So, I mean, not used to be, but in recent years. So I would say maybe, just
30K feels good for 2.5.
Yeah, it does.
listen.
30K for, yeah.
I mean, I've played 2.5 on a lot less, like 5.
I think 30K is very
But-
comfortable.
make sure you're winning in the game. When know you're a winning player, and then once you build it up to 50, then maybe take some shots at.
Yeah, and then if there's like a
100,
good
200?
tournament or
No.
something,
5,
you can throw your hat in the ring for a good tournament every now and then.
Yeah.
$600 1 mil or
Right,
something
maybe-
like
yeah,
that.
the 40 mil, 10K at the
Yeah,
end of the year.
I think you just grind. Honestly, I think you just grind cash and you take your shots at the big ones, like the 1,600,
satellites.
3 millions, all these stupid tournaments that you can just sell a little bit to. And if you don't have a network and not sell, you'll still be okay.
But if you play enough live cash, you'll get a network, and
Yeah.
you guys will swap, or you guys will be out by each other's action.
Oh, of course.
So it's like, I think that's 30K is a nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice start.
I definitely
I
think
think-
it's cash way though.
Yeah, I think I would do things a lot differently because I did it exactly the way you guys described it. And I gotta tell you,
good.
it wasn't fun.
But you were broading.
It was fine. Wait, I'm sorry.
Your bankroll on tabling.
Yes.
That's not fun. That's stressful.
No,
Right.
that's the only way to live.
Like,
I don't want to
of
live.
course it wasn't fun. That's very stressful.
No, well, so I would kind of bankroll on table, but I would diversify. If I had 30K, I think I would take 10 and I would play like 1, 2, 1, 3, maybe 2, 3, whatever. Like, but I would be
So you have separate bankrolls.
Yes, I would be very, very aggressive, but also diversify in some capacity, looking for different levels of return. So I think I would take 10K and invest in crypto, and like not just like fire into Bitcoin because the growth rate isn't
Shitcoins.
enough.
We're shitcoining, baby.
I would have like 2K exposure in shitcoins for
We're
sure.
shitcoining.
Like now,
Try to 100x something.
Yeah. We're
yeah,
gonna
I'm talking
100x.
about like right now, right?
Yeah,
Like, when the
we'd-
market
If
is
we're
a
right
bull
now,
run.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
if it was right
We're
this very
dipping in
second.
a bull run.
Yeah.
Let's shitcoin.
You wake up, you go on deck screener, and
Yep.
you find the
you look
fucking
at those
coin.
new pairs. You run them on rug check.
Oh my god,
That's
you
good.
Check out
You're
their,
all in.
You check out their Twitter too. Also got to check out
Well,
the Twitter.
I
You
don't
know?
really care about
Find
that.
those small market cap.
I'm in and out in
gems,
30 minutes.
Yes. So I would be investing a little bit into that. Like I would be trying to like turn that 10 into call it like 30 or something sustainable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I would take like the other 20 and I would probably allocate maybe 5K for shots in some capacity. So whether that was jumping into juicy 2-5 games or
It's
kind of
interesting having a shot take roll.
I think it's really good to do because if you try to like plan your shot, so to speak, like I feel good today, I'm gonna go play
Yeah.
2-5. That doesn't really mean as much as if you're like playing in a 1-3 game and you just see the craziest 2-5 ever pop off,
That's
Yeah.
true.
and there's a seat open.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you get invited to some
Yes.
private like 5-5 like crazy
Right,
or something.
right. You just don't want to sell yourself short in those situations, and you don't want to have to like try to manage it when you're really emotional and obviously want to pull the trigger.
It's really interesting that you say like continue playing 1-2, 1-3, and like
I can't believe
take
his
shots.
was the lowest stake. out
Well,
of all
yeah,
of
I
us.
mean, well, it's not really because he's saying take 10K and throw it into shitcoins. So it's like it's quite honestly,
trying to 100x,
it's
baby.
quite honestly the
10K to
highest.
100.
It's quite honestly the highest. stakes.
There's always going to be an element of degeneracy
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I would be taking on the highest risk to go broke.
Yeah.
But I think I would also be like trying to maximize my return while
You're having exposure to the big returns.
yeah, and like I don't think my win rate is so much less at like 1-3, 2-3 than 2-5 that it's worth it to be well rolled at 2-5 as opposed to being like a little bit overextended at 1-2.
You don't really need to be like super rolled it.
Right. No, you don't. And the thing is, like, I wouldn't restrict myself from totally playing it. Like, I would try to play in the good games, but I would make myself like kind of game select or whatever. But basically, the whole point would be that I feel like if I gave myself like 20,000 for poker, I could create an expectation where like maybe I earn like 40 or 50K that year, and I don't really care through what means, because whether I'm playing full time 2-5 or I'm playing a mixed bag with like some tournaments mixed in, 50K is 50K, and like that's just a good return for small stakes.
Yeah.
And then like, falling a little bit short of that, like you're still going to be able to cover your monthly nut, like even if you have it. So even if you only make like 25K or whatever. So I think I would have that 20K set aside where 15 was like mostly my day to day, and then 5K was shot taking, where I would like include maybe 1,000 online, 1,000 or 2,000 set aside for like good $500 MTTs, where it's like, I know the rake is high, but this is a one-off and an opportunity to win 50K. I mean, truthfully, this is what I really did. I just never actually physically partition my money.
Right.
I would just have like 4K and be like, okay, I'm going to play the Venetian fucking deep stack. What's the difference between 3,500 and 4K? Like, you know, sometimes you just win it for 40 and it's like, hey, look at this. I can be a human again. Like, this is great. But I think like having some exposure, especially if I were young again, right? If I'm 23, having exposure to markets that's really worth investing your time in.
I didn't know that was an option in our plan. Because I would just be, fuck poker, we're gonna run it up.
You're just gonna be all in on it.
And then once I get to like 100K, I'm gonna go and play 510.
Okay, I think that's very reasonable too. I guess the reason why I segregated them is because most of my time would be still invested in getting good at poker if this were me starting over.
Right, because you're starting from.
I would still allocate time to understanding markets because this is something that like in our 20s we just didn't do. We were 100% poker. And then when I was 30 and went broke again, it was like, I don't have anything else except lifting weights because that was the only other thing I took any time to learn about.
It probably would have, you know, been pretty good to be sharp in markets when in 2008 when the crash
hit. The guys that
and we were
look
like
at
smart enough
now.
to know like, hey, we should invest all our money now since everything's crashed.
Right.
And, you know, but no, we're just like, why would I invest in anything else?
It's like I finally have a 100K bankroll. You think I'm going to fire it on something else?
There's a lot of people who back then like started learning about crypto and now they just have hundreds of millions.
Right.
To be fair, like back in 2005, there was nothing exciting about the markets. Like,
I mean,
they were pumping.
Like
you could do well traditionally, and you can definitely do well in real estate.
People went. I mean, the .com boom was crazy, and then it was just like, and then the financial crisis hit, and then everything exploded after that.
Yeah, when we moved to Vegas, like it was at the tail end of the .com crash. And there were still a lot of those guys who were frequenting poker.
It was past that, right? It was the market was already booming. The real estate, everything was booming again.
Real estate had recovered. I'm saying like the actual .com itself, like the people who made a pile of money in the .com industry,
right?
Like they were kind of on the tail end of their next cycle or whatever. But yeah, there were a lot of guys in poker that like were .com millionaires. And then gravitated towards this new market, which was poker. So in some regards, like we were very lucky. We were early adopters. Like we were like the guys who got into crypto early. But the difference is that the market cap of poker was like so fucking small.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like we all did really well for ourselves. Us becoming millionaires through this game is like somebody else becoming 100 millionaire or more through
like the
crypto.
numbers in crypto are silly.
Yeah.
Like they're so silly compared to poker.
Yeah.
Right. And like that's the other thing is like I wouldn't even necessarily be all in on crypto if I were like 23 again and had to diversify my money like this. I think I would want to do like, or I would hope that I would be sharp enough to like see the way AI is kind of moving and like start to pay attention to trends there. It's way different when you're my age now and you just have like capital to deploy, right?
Yeah.
Now I just wait around for somebody who's really fucking sharp in this to say
them
like,
money.
to say like, hey, this thing is moving and I'm going to invest in it. So like, I think it'd probably be a good idea for you too. It's like, okay, I'm going to do that. Or like one day someone's just like, you know, Airbnbs have a really high return. It's like, well, maybe I should fucking get an Airbnb then, you know, because I just can. I got a little bit of fucking dry fodder laying around. Why not? Let's fire it up, see what happens. But when you're 23, you know, it's like you still have those same options. It's just you're dumb in just about everything. You're all in.
Well, there's more opportunity costs too because you don't have extra. Like if you invest into something, you don't have extra to if there's something better that comes along.
Right.
So you kind of have to be more selective.
You become illiquid. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, on top of that, it's like you're also generally all in on the thing that you care about.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's a girl or the way you're trying to make money, like you're not really trying to hear the other shit. So, yeah, I think like all that would be the way that I would approach it. And then like, lastly, I would try to allocate some small portion of that for study. Like, even if I couldn't do anything else, like I would be sure to have like a Wizard AI subscription. Even
Would you get a coach?
Man, that's
expensive.
It's
Coaching
so hard.
expensive.
It's so hard to know the answer to that because it just wasn't an option for us, right? Like, I don't know. I'm sure there were times that we desired having coaches back then.
You guys were each other's coaches.
It just truly was not an option. Like nobody did it.
Yeah.
Literally no one. And if they did offer it, they were just a scam.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like,
Yeah, it'd be
do
like
it
some
yourself.
random person come up to you and hand you like a business card and be like, I'm a poker coach.
Oh,
and
I
maybe
had
you
a
could-
lot
it's
of
just like-
those when I was like
I don't know
just
who you
starting
are.
on Twitch. Like
Yeah.
it was like these guys who were, you know, like not beating micros and like being like, I can coach you.
Right. Yeah,
And I'm
that's
like,
the
what?
typical guy.
All
There's a
right.
couple of them at the win every day still.
Do you, Lamanna, do you remember the big fat guy from Silver Creek that used to like just go and knit a fucking sweater, and he would always try to give us these like little gems of knowledge, like,
I mean,
you know, you can't lose what you don't put in the middle.
You know,
Tight
He's
is
not
right.
wrong.
there's been so many of those people throughout my career.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'll never forget him, and I think it's
Yeah.
because like he did offer to coach us, or me at least in some sort of capacity. But it was just like I even then I was just like, I don't want to be you.
Right.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you think you're doing that's winning, but like all I'm seeing is a bunch of fucking folding, buddy, and I'm not into that idea. At
I just
all.
wanted to like when we were first coming up, I wanted to talk to like professionals and like how
Yeah.
do you go about your day? What do you do? Like what's your bankroll management? What is like so just getting advice for the people that been through it.
And the barrier was so much higher.
Right.
They were celebrities.
Oh yeah,
You couldn't
for
talk to
sure.
a Negreanu.
But
or-
even like the grinders, the lower level grinders that like had been in the game for 20 years before we've been playing.
they were
Just, like,
limit players though.
Yeah, I know, but like not just like how do you not like for advice on like poker itself,
But
just
as a career.
as a career.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't envy anybody starting out today, but it's just because living your life backwards is really fucking hard.
yeah.
Like the notion of starting over at anything
It's just
right
different.
now
Mhm.
just seems hard, and it's hard to even put yourself in the mind of a 23-year-old. But God bless everybody out there who is giving it their first go. Maybe dip on over to Solve for Why if you're looking to go the live path. We got a lot of good things to offer. No big deal. If you're looking to study more online content, there's a lot of great stuff out there. So just be sure you don't get ripped off too much. You're going to at some point, for sure.
Yeah, and don't play app games.
Don't play out games.
Just play app games.
Kids, stay away from the apps.
Yeah.
It's great having you guys back in the building. Thank
Yes, it
you
is.
for joining us. That's going to do it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow. I think we're going to stick with the noon time frame until I leave for Montreal, and then these guys are going to be free to do as they please. So look for us at noon Pacific right here, as always, on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave us a little bit of love. Let us know what you would do if you had to start over tomorrow with a clean slate. That's going to do it for us. We'll be back tomorrow. I think we're going to be doing Strat Chat, but we might be talking about this GG thing. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you guys then.
Later, squad.
Peace.